lastly, now we have Shaymin games.
I love the Shaymin games.
So first up, we have Grandmaster Cake versus Wolf. Week one victor was Cake, so they are going in with their victory, trying to keep it going, and Wolf is trying to actually claim their first one. Again, also another Sun team that we're seeing up their Groudon. This time with a Terra Slitherwing. That was an
I
interesting
do
Terra
like also
choice.
Terra Slitherwing.
Yeah, I do think that's really cool. Starry probably really loves it because he loves Slitherwing. Good for him.
Yeah, that's a good mon. It might
And I
not be the
believe it
best.
is Terra Grass Tornadus Therian for Cake.
Okay. Hmm. Tricky. Oh
Ow!
God.
Well, just tricked a choice specs
Well,
onto Hatterene.
and got unfortunately
Got one shot for it. Granted, it was a Zoroark Hisui. Or a base
yeah.
Zoroark, sorry, so it was dark.
Yeah, I think when we were watching that I was like, wait, what? Well, how did that die? And I was like, okay, it's again,
Yeah.
don't like Zoroarks.
Granted, I do understand like trying to go for the choice specs because some of their other mons are more physical, so giving them the specs makes it useless. I think giving it to a Hatterene, that was just kind of dangerous.
Yeah, I don't. I wonder if they were trying to give it to that, or if they're trying to give something else. Because at that point, I'd give it Scarf instead, or heck, I guess they're trying to use it a little bit, maybe. But
Yeah, it depends on what they were running with it. All right, triple axle eats
dude,
that.
Protean is such a good ability.
Only hits once though. That's so unfortunate. Triple axle
Yeah.
seems like such a terrible move.
Well, it's interesting. So if you run it with loaded dice, it only checks the first time.
Does it?
Yeah. So I was
I didn't
because I
remember that.
because you have it because you can run it on Chinchino. I had Chinchino last season or 2 seasons ago. For so when you run loaded dice on it, it only checks for the first time, which is kind of cool.
Oh, okay. I guess that's actually some pretty good tech for it then. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because
I just remember a lot of
Chinchino
people
gets
ran
Gale
it
Slap
with.
and all that good
Uh,
stuff.
I just remember a lot of people ran it with wide lens because then it just
Yeah, I
helps
mean
with the
that's
accuracy overall.
yeah, I mean that obviously is a very safe way of doing it because then it's what 99 and you're like, God,
Yeah,
if you
this
miss,
this was an unfortunate play, I will say. Like he did live that, which I was like, okay, do you have whirlwind? Do you have something to get rid of it? And then they just hit the iron defense. I'm like, you already took 75%. That iron defense is not. That's not it.
yeah,
And yeah, the glacial lance, it's just claiming now.
it just yep. At that point, it just steamrolls because it just breaks.
Like
Even
yeah,
the
first
super
impression
effective.
here. Yep, first impression and down. Yeah, and then just claims it. Even at times two speed. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean I told you
outsped and
it's well
claimed.
I think at +2, I mean that is quite fast.
Hi
Let me bring up a
Ryuvers.
calculator.
Welcome, welcome. We just got into the Shaman division. We already finished up with Mew. No, we are finishing up with Shaman. We already started with Mew and then went through Victini.
Yes.
But so if you missed those, if those are the ones you're looking for, they'll be up on the VOD when Vortex uploads it.
But
Oh,
mm,
you played your week 2 game. Ryu, are you Arson? Oh, to the Mew cube. Was Mew missing one? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh,
okay,
Forte.
it's
Hi,
Forte.
Forte.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, didn't realize how the week 2 game.
Oh, versus Bree. Yeah, we saw that one earlier.
Did we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we watched that one in the Mew from the Mew ones.
Yeah,
I think
you had it queued up. So
yeah, we watched Mew at the beginning. We started with Mew. We went through Victini. Yeah, when the VOD goes up, you'll be able to see those.
oh yeah, we did watch this. Okay, yeah, you watch this.
Yep.
Look at
All
that.
right. Moving on.
You know, Calyrex Ice though at +2, 368 speed. Like that's fast.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I just thought it was so much slower.
I
Okay.
mean, when it's because its base speed's 50, but you know when you double it and then you add stuff, like it
Oh,
doesn't.
it's base 50. My brain was, for some reason, thinking it was so much slower. I thought it was like base 20 or something. So that's
Oh
where I
yeah,
was
no.
like,
So, I
how is
mean,
it this fast? Okay. That makes a
yeah.
lot of sense. I'm just dumb. So
See,
next
that's
up we
like,
have Tactics versus Gage. Tactics is the one coming off of a week 1 win.
yeah, which I'll say, it's a buddy of mine, his first win ever last week, so I was proud of him.
Is he new to draft entirely?
Yeah, he did one season in another league, and he's learning a lot. He's getting better.
Oh, gotcha. Well, it's good. Glad that we have him here.
Yeah.
I think he's also the one who has the Terra Iron Moth.
Yes, he does have a Terra Iron Moth as well.
Yeah, I remember
That
watching
I
them
just want
like
to
draft
off
some of these mons, and I was like, "Hey, they're drafting the Rain team that you tried running."
though. To be fair, he was going for Rain, and I did help him a bit, like restructure his team. Um, which so if he does poorly, I take partial responsibility.
It can work well. I think it's just a lot easier to prep for. I think having a little bit of mix of it, like having a few mons for like Rain instead of building a lot around it, is a lot easier to work with.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Whenever you're too committed to one thing like that, is always tough.
Yeah, because then if somebody
But
brings like a prankster mon and just turns it off, then it's like, well, what do I
yep.
do?
Oh, and I know here I was talking to him. He was surprised that it outsped. He didn't realize that I got the speed boost
Yes, Terragrass gives
when
it
it's
the plus
Terran.
1 speed. So this is the
Yeah,
one
which
I think. Does somebody else have a Terra Agripon? I don't remember.
I don't know either. Surprised it lived that though. Unfortunately, the rain hurting himself.
Yeah, that's where the range is like turns itself around on you, and it's like, well, now I'm in trouble. Yeah,
Yeah,
these Ivy cudgels just doing a lot, unfortunately. If that would have had like a setup on like a swords dance at any point, I think it would have just been over. It would have just
yeah,
cleaned up.
definitely.
And then yep, Qian Pao just coming out just to kind of claim it. Ice Shard could have been banded. Also
It
just
feels so
minusing
good.
their defense, it just puts in so much damage.
Yeah, I'm really learning recently how good Champao is. It's definitely like I feel like people talk about like, oh, it's just slightly better Weavile. It's just no, it's so much better than Weavile.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Griggsy versus Throggy. Week 1 was Griggsy taking a victory, so they're trying to keep that momentum going. Throggy again trying to find their first one.
I'm a big fan of Curum White, so I'm excited to see how this goes.
Yep. So we have a Terra. What was the Terra there? Terra Fire Dragonite and a Terra Fairy Necrozma.
Necroz was definitely a really good Terra Pokemon as
I
well. I
do
don't know
like the
much
Terra
about
Fairy
it.
into this team though, because like it's good against the Dragonite before it Terras. It's good against the Hisuian Samurai and the Great
But
Tusk.
yeah,
Gets rid of its psychic typing, so that way it's not weak to the Shadow Balls from the Spectre. Yep, Rapid
man,
Spin
really,
want to get rid of those. And Whirlwind.
what's hitting its stat besides like a Gigaton Hammer? I guess is the only thing that's even going to hit it super effective too.
Yeah, Gigaton Hammer there. Yeah, I think that's almost it. I don't know if Great Tusk gets Heavy Slam.
It may, but I feel like
Yeah,
it's just going to die to a Psychic or a Fairy type move at that point anyway.
yeah.
Oh,
Photon
well,
guys are unfortunately just not being able to claim that kill. I think that's just mainly because of the fact that multi-scale was still active.
yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
getting
shows
the
such a
veil
good
up.
ability.
Yep, getting the veil up, getting that protection for the ice typing. Unfortunately, just eats this. Curum White's ending up.
Yeah, it does suck that.
And
Oh,
unfortunate miss.
heartbreaker.
They live, thankfully, getting another speed boost, which I think allows them to outspeed anything now that Griggsy might have. But
Definitely.
unfortunately, this does just kind of tank it. Oh, it stole the loaded dice. Terra Agropon Grass seems like a fun mon with its freedom with items. That is true. That is the one Agropon that actually gets to have an item that isn't limited to a mask.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. That's fascinating.
Yeah,
It was
all the
interesting
other Agropons have
encore
to hold
there.
it.
God, brick breaks tanks it so well.
Yeah, and Slush Rush right now in the snow.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna last much longer though. Think
Yep, it
yeah, I think
ended
it was only
unfortunately. Yeah, I think they were. I'm guessing they were probably the was Light Clay for the
Like
Veil
Clay,
to stay
yeah,
up
if
as
they
much as it
were,
can. Yep, Shadow
yeah, I
Ball
definitely.
and
It sucks
Crunch
'cause if
Crunch
they weren't
Map.
likely, if they were Icy Rock, they definitely, I do think that Sand Slash would have ran through.
Yes, I think giving those like just few extra turns of the double that speed with +4 attack there, I think that was going to just put in a lot of work. Ice Spinner for basically any of the mons, and then knock off for this, or just knock
Yep.
off for the horse as well.
Yeah, it didn't run. Well, I guess we didn't see knockoff because it went for the Ice Shard, but yeah,
Yeah.
probably had that.
All right. Next up, we have who's this one? We have Swift versus Zombie. Week one's win went to Swift, so they're trying to keep that one going. Let's see how it goes.
Well, I love Blaziken and I love Kyurem, so
That is
and the
true.
rocks. Ooh, spikes is. Ooh, nope, no more spikes.
This I will say is something that I would like to point out for the Shaymin divisions, kind of specifically, just for people that understand. Proto, please do not use that with a mon that you're just trying to set up hazards with. Use that to try to threaten something or like outspeed a critical mon that you can then try to actually claim a kill on. Because leading
Yeah,
it with the Sandy Shocks just for the speed, yeah, you got like hazards up. You could just run Focus Sash to guarantee at least some hazards up. It's like instead of just boosting your speed for it, which then once you switch, now you don't have that boost anymore unless you either get the sun up or for the Cork Drive mons, you have to get the terrain up.
yeah, no, I fully agree. I fully agree. Wait, like using that boost for energy is just not the wisest use of that item slot if you're going to use it for that purpose.
Yeah. Booster energy is one of those items that like some people may not like it because it only works once. It can really turn the tides if used properly. Like I've been using it for some of my Cork Drive mons. It's definitely kind of bit me because I set up on a
Ooh,
terrain and then when I
big
lost.
miss on the Hydro Pump. Sorry, didn't mean
Yeah,
to cut
no,
you
that's
off.
fine. The Hydro Pump miss there was kind of insane, which was also interesting that it was instead of a dual wing beat, which is what I was expecting.
Yeah, I guess.
I kind of saw that and I was like, oh, it's going to go for like a dual wing beat. And I was like, nope. Did end up living the flare boats, which was really nice, and got that off. They didn't go for like a swords dance on that Blaziken to actually set up and try to go for a sweep. That's what I was expecting it to try to do.
Yeah, that's. I mean, as someone who has done that mostly, that's how I've been pretty much running it
Yeah.
personally.
Terra Ice was interesting. I'm not entirely sure what that would have been for. I guess potentially for the Curum, but I feel like you could have just like went steel. The only thing you probably didn't want steel for though is the Blaziken, which I can understand.
Yeah,
Goes for the Ice Shard. Zacian stats just too damn high.
yeah. Zacian is the most expensive, one of the top tier 30 point mons for a very important reason.
Right. Yeah, and see, like this one has the cork drive speed, which I like. Really helpful.
Yeah, yeah. At this point,
Yeah. Unfortunately, they went for the close combat where that for that reflect. That I think is what cost them. I think I would have just ended up still going for that moonblast.
yes, I
Cause
think the exact same thing. That reflect was real clutch though.
it was. That did end up saving them, but at the same time I was like, I think they could have I think Zombie could have just clicked moonblast like through and through.
Yeah, yeah. Even if that didn't kill already, lucky it probably would at that point lived a Thunderbolt.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
So
well played to Swifts. Moving on. Next up, we go to Septor Bird versus Asylum. This was unfortunately Septor Bird's last one in the season with us. They did end up dropping out after this match.
yeah, fortunate.
But at least currently we will still see this team one more week. Because no changes have been made. So yeah, turn one just leads the Garchomp, gets the Swords Dance up. Unfortunately taking the web, so might come back to bite them. Did like getting the scale shot up, so that way at least now they can start out speeding things. But yeah, Glastrier just is too tanky.
Dude, Glacier is such a weird mon. Sorry if my sound gets weird. I'm going to my kitchen right this second.
That's fine. Goes to the yeah. Unfortunately, like, just went for the Terrafire. And cool that they were Akaberry at least to try to eat that Earthquake, but I don't know. I would have probably just stayed. You kind of it was neutral initially. I don't know if they were expecting like a close combat or just something else.
Yeah, but again, all that would have been neutral all the same, even a CC.
Yeah. Yep, Hydro Pump unfortunately lands claiming against the Scizor. Yep. Glacier again just still its defenses are
Doesn't
weird.
want to die.
Ismon is weird. Yeah, and then Fluttermane is a threat because right now it can just sit here and click Moonblast.
Yep.
I don't know if that. No, yeah, it probably was just outspeeding enough for that. But yeah, this Mon at this point could just come in, click Moonblast, claim kills,
Yep. It
even
does
without
suck that.
booster. If it was if this Mon was booster like special attack or something, that would have been a threat. That would have
Yeah.
been so scary because I don't even think the Clefable would have won it or been able to
What's the other
stop
stuff
it.
is Fairy doesn't resist Fairy, which is tough. I feel like
Yeah,
it would have made Fairy even more broken as a type.
it really would have. Unfortunately, I think that would make Tinkaton even more annoying to deal with. Even though you're never
Oh
hitting a
god.
fairy move into it, it would just tank it so much more.
Yeah.
All right, well played to Asylum. Next up we have Hina versus Brody. Hina was the one that took the win in week 1, so trying to see if they can keep that up. This team definitely is like a threat. I've seen a Quake Wolf put in work before. I've been a victim of that one before.
Yeah, I had a pretty one a couple years ago. Season 5?
Yeah, season 5, it beat me up real bad.
Yeah, just something that has quite the power in this format, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it
I mean,
can still
obviously,
if you can chip things down enough, I think you can put in a lot of work. The double
yeah.
dragon was definitely interesting from Hina for their. I think that was round 1 and 2. Was just claiming both dragons, which was an interesting decision.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're both two dragons that are mixed attackers, which is fascinating. So it kind of gives you
Yes.
some variety there.
Yeah. Again, setting up the trick room though, so that way they can utilize Azumarill's
Yep.
just massive attack stats.
Yeah. So then I think after the dragons, I think they got Ursulina Blood Moon. So I'm like, that's a rough whatchamacall weakness to ice, but
Oh, they
got the two
picked up
water types.
Rayquaza on Greats. Dragapult was round 1. Oh, I thought they picked up. Oh no, that's 6 foot hacks. I know that picked up double dragons. I believe rounds 1 and 2 they went Terra Dragonite and then Dragapult. I think that's what I'm mixing up.
Okay.
Yeah, now the Trick Room just turning in the tides, going in favor of Ursaluna.
Yeah.
Gotta go. Yep. Thunderous comes out. Yep. Eats the energy ball. That's good. Ooh, Grass Knot. That's actually really good for the other mons that could have tried coming out in case it was the Ursaluna to try and stop a electric move.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what that was for.
Which makes sense. Again, the Trick Room, though. Yep. Moonlight getting itself back up to full HP.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah,
like setting up
unfortunately, like
trigger.
Earth Power, like now Rage Fist is 100 base power, now 150. Drain Punch,
Yeah,
oh, the crit just to gain all that back.
but again, Ursaluna again having a broken ability and basically two abilities at once.
Yeah. Only downside is that, or thankfully, Blood Moon can only be used once every other turn, like Gigaton Hammer.
Yeah, but
That move would be a nightmare otherwise.
at
Rage
that point,
Fist
basically just
just
hype ream.
claims. I think at this point the move's 250. Yep. Aqua Step does claim the kill though, which was good.
Okay, let's see with the Moxie boost.
Terra Steel just went for another Aqua Step though, which kind of threw me off. I was expecting like a potential like Terra Blast.
Yeah,
Aqua Jet lives it thankfully. Gets another Aqua Step +3 speed.
quite fast.
It is. Unfortunately, I don't think it has enough oomph to punch through this. Solgaleo is just bulky enough.
Yeah, Solgaleo. I always say Solgaleo. I hear both.
Yes.
Yeah, just quite bulky there.
Yeah, and I think yeah, now Shadow Ball I think just starts claiming. Oh, Diancie actually lived it. Oh, sets up the Trick Room again.
Yep. Oh, but I do think that
I think that yeah, the -1 special attack though really helped matter there.
yeah,
Yep.
really close one though.
Yes, that really came down to the wire there. So well played on both sides, really.
Yeah, if Diancie didn't set up the trigger, I do think that would have gone the other way. So that was a good play.
Yeah, it would have. They actually needed to do that. All right. Next up, we have Viking versus Diamond. Viking coming off of a 4-0 win, and then Diamond coming off of a 2-0 win from week 1. And then I'm trying to see what were the Terras here. I think Terra Dark, Chiyu, and Terra Fairy Raging Bolts.
Okay. She and another one I think is a really good Terra Captain.
Yeah, I think you just slap a choice item, like a choice scarf or a choice specs, whatever Terra you want, and you just kind of go in claiming kills.
Yeah, it's speed being only 100, just kind of like ugh with it. So I feel like you're kind of stuck with a scarf. You can't really go specs.
Yeah, but the problem is as long as you outspeed whatever the current mon that it's in against on, you basically are claiming a kill because it's like even if you're not going to be scarfed, choice specs will just help you claim a kill, and nothing wants to switch into that overheat.
Yeah, and obviously if you get webs up, that helps a lot as well.
Yes. Just make sure that you start outspeeding everything, start actually just claiming those kills. Yep, there's Headlong Rush again. That's just another signature move that I see on Ursaluna.
Like, let's give this broken Pokemon a broken move.
And that and Great Tusk. Both of them just love running Headlong Rush.
Yeah.
Yep, Facade, but on the Protect, trying to get a little more damage off of the from the burn. Unfortunately, Foul Play does not claim the kill and takes a lot of damage there. Yep, goes for their Protect. Ooh,
Yeah. I love
Tailwind.
Murkrow. No Murkrow has one job. It's to set up.
I was actually expecting. Ooh, nope, can't do that. Can't do that. Prankster does
Nope.
not work on the dark types. This is the
No.
dark. Yep. So it's got Wicked Blows. Yeah, unfortunately, protecting is not that good. Unseen Fist just goes right through it, so kind of
Yeah.
burnt off their protect turn. Yeah, or Sphere claiming kill. That makes sense. I'm kind of surprised that even at a -1 speed, they don't bring out the Chi-Yu and just try to claim a kill here. Ooh, Shadow Ball. That's actually a good read, but they ended up letting it go down to the burn damage. Another Tailwind. Oh, actually, was the Tailwind still up when the Mewtwo came out? I don't remember. Yeah, unfortunately, Shadow Ball's not going to do all that much. Yep, close combat claims. Yep, and then unfortunately, just because of that Tailwind, it just kept that Urshifu outspeeding.
Yeah. So Tailwind was good there, since they
Yeah,
couldn't get rid of the webs. At least I can neutralize them. Well, actually, it
yeah.
doesn't even neutralize. See, it does. You're still
They're
outspeeding because
yeah, you're doubled, and then you're only at a -1. So they're
yeah,
basically at a +1. The math's probably a little weird there, but
yeah. I don't know how that math works.
yeah.
100%.
All right, and last one we have is Admiral versus Photon. Both of them coming off of a week 1 loss, so one of them trying to take home a victory.
Love that.
All right, so we see the Terra Poison on Zarude, and then I believe Terra Psychic, Hoopa Unbound. Yeah, so turn
Hoopa
one
Unbound.
gets the webs up on them, and then just goes right for the Heat Crash. Earthquake does quite a lot. That's actually nice. Yep, 2-shot right there. Shifu revealed Scarf turn 1. Oh wow, so it was Scarfed uh and in
In the
the
Tailwind, so it's
yeah
definitely
the
faster.
Tailwind. Yeah. All right, Zerd coming out easily threatening away that Deoxys. Knock off so much damage into the Cyclezar. Endeavor was
That's
again. We
Endeavor.
keep seeing Endeavor this week. It's really interesting that a lot more people are just running that.
it's just such a good way to get like cheap, not even cheap, but just like really specific Pokemon
And
down.
then and then the U-turn out of the quote-unquote Iron Bundle to claim the kill 4 times effective, even though that was a Zoroark. We all know it.
I didn't realize Undermode got U-turn. What a shock!
I think it actually does.
It does.
It does get it, but like most people just run the flip turn.
Yeah.
Yep, got the special defense drop, which I think that's like 50% chance though. But yeah, the heal blocks here from Psychic Noise were great. Leech Seed meaning nothing for healing them. They couldn't go for any like synthesis or anything to heal themselves up. If they had leftovers, nothing.
We're getting the Leech Seeds, like they were chipping them down, but not getting the healing though.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, but then got the Soul Heart +1, lives the Stomping Tantrum, and then just claims it with a Shadow Ball.
Yeah, beginner doesn't know when it's like God, so good.
Yeah, if used correctly, it can put in a ton of work and just threaten out anything it needs. All right. Well played. That's all of our Shaymin games, and that is everything we had. That is all of our Week 2 games from all 3 of our divisions. Week 2's Jirachi will be hosted by Matt and Poncho next Monday, so be sure to check that out. And thank you, everyone, for watching the video.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, a little change to the format, not just having Vortex. Not that we don't love Vortex, but get some other people from the VDL in here
Yeah, he
watching
needs
stuff
time.
and
He needs
talking
time
about
to
things.
go play his Marvel Rivals and anything else but be here.
Yeah, he's only playing because we forced him to.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, see you all next week. And everybody, if you haven't already, go schedule your matches. It's already Tuesday. What are you all doing?
Yes, go schedule, have fun, good luck prepping.
All right. Later, everyone.
Deuces.